Okay, I've had a few questions asking about extreme hunger and people being concerned, like, I don't really feel like I'm that hungry. I don't feel like I have extreme hunger. I don't really think I need to eat that much food in recovery. And a couple things could be going on. Not everybody does experience extreme hunger. And extreme hunger can look different for this person versus this person versus this person. Um, but I oftentimes wonder if there's such a mental restriction that's been going on for however long they've struggled with their eating disorder that has kind of so much suppressed their appetite that they're not even feeling that extreme hunger. So physical or mental restriction can oftentimes suppress that real hunger that when you start eating, you start feeling really, really hungry. And I have clients who are like, well, I'm eating a little bit more. Like I feel, in their mind, it's a lot, but like, it's really just a little bit more. And they're wondering like, I don't really think I'm not really that hungry. I don't think I have that big of an appetite. And I'm like, I find it hard to believe if you've been restricting, for, in this case, 15 years, that you're not hungry, that you're not really, really hungry. Like whether it's mental hunger where you just want to eat so much or it's actual physical hunger, either way, I'm guessing if you've been restricting for a time, and it doesn't even have to be 15 years, if you've been restricting for a few months, if you've been restricting for a day, the next day you should probably be feeling really hungry. And so if you're not, it's likely that you're not even eating enough to kind of stroke that that hunger inside of you. It's like your appetite is still so suppressed that it's not even really sparking that. So my advice, you're going to be shocked at this, but my advice is you need to eat more food. You need to start asking yourself what really does sound good. Because oftentimes I'll have people say, well, it doesn't even sound good. I'm not even craving anything. I'm not really craving sweets. I'm not really thinking about food. I don't even feel like I really have mental hunger. And I'm like, once you start eating, and this will scare people away often, but it's the truth and it has to happen to recover. So it's a good thing. But once you start eating, typically you start feeling physically really hungry, but then also the mental hunger will kind of flare up, and all of a sudden you're thinking about this and that and this because everything's available now, right? Everything's free for you to eat. But when you've been restricted for so long, you're not like, you know what? A big pizza's sounding pretty good, and maybe that big ice cream sundae I could have, because you haven't even thought that for so long, however long, again, months, years, decades, whatever. You haven't even allowed your brain to go there and think about those options. So oftentimes when people are like, well, where do I get started? I don't even know. First, maybe just start writing down, not necessarily, maybe you're not craving these things initially, but write down the things you've avoided for a really long time. Or make a list of things you've told yourself that you don't really like. I can't even tell you how big my list was when I started recovery of foods I didn't think I liked. Over 20 years, I convinced myself that I really didn't like pizza. And bread wasn't even that good. I don't know why people were like, oh, carbs are so good. I didn't really understand that. I convinced myself that bread wasn't even that big of a deal and it wasn't that good. Some other things I convinced myself that my protein mug cakes that I would make at night were way better than any brownie or cookie or anything that people could make. And they were just way better. That's a load of crap. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. That is just not the case. Real homemade brownies and really yummy warm chocolate chip cookies are better than a protein mug cake. They just are. So if you've convinced yourself throughout your eating disorder that those are your foods you love, and that's really truly what you crave, it's likely because you haven't eaten the other things. So write a list of all your avoided foods, of all the foods you think you don't like, and you need to revisit them. And okay, fine, if you've had them several times now in your recovery and you're like, I really just don't love pizza. Or for me, maybe it was actually I do love pizza, but I don't love pizza with red sauce. I like specialty yummy pizzas with cool sauces and different toppings and things like that. But just plain pizza with red sauce and cheese, and still I'm recovered, and that's not my favorite kind of pizza, but that's okay. I explored and experimented with so many other ones in recovery that I can say I love pizza. So I think you need to not, and same thing with I don't like sandwiches. Well, maybe you don't like, cold cut deli sandwiches, but do you like warm paninis? Do you like grilled cheeses? Do you like meatball sub or a French dip? Or there's just so many other things to just say, I don't like this type of food. and not revisit it at all in your recovery, to me isn't fair. I feel like you're really selling yourself short and really going to kind of put like a limit on how free you can truly become with food. So the more that you're willing to explore different foods and avoided foods in your recovery, the more free you're going to feel when you're fully recovered. I can honestly say that no food's off limits for me now, because I did initially, yes, I had to force myself to eat all of those things, but I came to learn, yes, I like that. No, I don't like that. Yeah, I love that. That's okay. I take it or leave it. But now I have opinions of all these things, and it's not influenced by an eating disorder. So and the follow-up question of, I don't really feel that hungry, is often like, so then do I force myself to eat? Yeah, you do force yourself to eat. Absolutely, you're going to have to force yourself to eat at the beginning, because you may have such a suppressed appetite that if you're not forcing yourself to eat, there's no way you're going to come out of that restriction. So anyways, hopefully this message rings true to some and will kind of give you some direction as to where to start if you're not feeling that hunger, and also some permission, also some validation of, it's okay if you don't feel really, really hungry. In recovery still requires a lot of food if you've restricted. If you have a history of restricting, in order to come back to a balance, you're going to have to kind of go the other direction and eat a lot of food. Your body hasn't had what it's needed for quite some time. So it only makes sense to feast eat and eat a lot of food. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally encouraged. So have a great day.